Let me introduce myself. Gordon Parr, founder of Time of Your Life, which enables people to relate their lives for families, friends and future generations. Today, I would like to welcome Martin Reilly to the studio. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning, Gordon.
Martin is a former Irish police officer and now involved in the tourist industry, and has just flown in from Dublin and is here to tell us about his life and times. So, Martin, tell us about your family history. How far back do you go?
Well, the O'Reilly name is an old clan name. We were clan chieftains, the O'Reillys. And they came from a place called Breffni, which is, in geographical terms, about 45 miles northwest of Dublin.
Very good.
The O'Reillys.
The O'Reillys. So, Martin, tell us about your brothers and sisters.
Well, I have two brothers and a sister, all happily alive and well. And they're all retired now, like myself, living in various locations around the country. My parents, John and Eva, are dead.
And what about schooling?
Schooling, I went to school locally in a small town called Ardee, and I attended the local De La Salle Brothers and got a rounded education there up until the late 1960s.
And what about your friends? Do you have any long-lasting friends?
I do. My very good friends are friends from school and from the days of my time in the show bands. They were the brass section with me in the show band, and I still have a lot of interaction with them, and we have a few drinks together from time to time, and we often go away together. And we just talk about the old days, and it's great. I'm very fortunate in that.
And that's when you were early 20s, late teens?
Late teens. I ran off to join show bands, and I was part of the brass section. I played trumpet professionally for nearly 4 years, and played all over England, Scotland, Wales, on contract with the Mecca ballrooms.
Very, very good. And what about your career? When did you join the force?
I got a flash of common sense in about 1974 and decided to leave the bands. And I joined the Garda, which is the police force of the Republic of Ireland. And I was fortunate enough to be stationed in Dublin city centre, which I took to immediately. I loved it. I loved the city, and I loved everything to do with the rough and tumble of policing in a working class area in Dublin.
Any stories you'd like to relate or can relate?
There was an incident in Dublin city centre where a German coach was parked up in a particular area of Dublin. The tourists had gone off to view some monument somewhere, but they had left some of their valuables on the coach. In the preceding 15 or 20 minutes after that, after they left the coach was broken into and a camera was taken. So the camera was gone. We arrived on the scene, and we caught the guys who took the camera. So now we're in the district court. We've got the guy in the dock. The court is full of people. And now we have the German who owns the camera in the witness box, who didn't speak any English whatsoever. I'm cross-examining, but it's my job to establish who he is. So I asked him what his name was. He couldn't speak English. So the judge said to the court, "Is there anybody in the court can speak German?" And everybody looked around and nobody could speak German, until this little gurrier down at the back of the court said, "I speak German." And the judge said, "Come up and ask this man what his name is. You're now the interpreter." So everybody watched this young lad, 15 or 16 years of age, walking up to the German in the witness box. This young lad put his elbow up in the witness box. Everybody waited with bated breath. And he turned around to the German and he said, "What is your name?" Court just erupted in laughing because he was only a joker. It was all just a big joke.
Yeah,
and the judge gave him 7 days for contempt.
You're kidding
There
me.
and then on the spot. But they were the days. They were in the days when justice was delivered in that sort of a fashion. But everybody thought it was very funny. The German didn't know what was going on at all.
No.
But it was all just a big joke, and it's gone down in the folklore really of court work in Dublin. Lots of different stories would have happened down through the years. On nights working with these young fellas and picking them up and stolen cars and chasing stolen cars and all the fun and games that went on. Like, I mean, it was terribly humorous.
Yes.
But it was serious work.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
but it became very humorous. But we had a kind of a zany type of humour in the police. You would develop a zany type of a humour.
Right.
And that worked very well for us.
But it was a young man's job, wasn't it?
A young man's job.
That's for sure.
in the ruffle and buffle down the city, yeah.
Now, you've had a second career. You've been in the tourist industry for the past, 10 years?
10 years, yeah, since I retired.
Can you tell us a little about that?
Well, I mean, I've always had this huge interest in history and geography and the writers and architecture. Dublin is very, very much an architectural city. And the writers, of course, are very important in Dublin as well. So I just superimposed my knowledge of Dublin, my knowledge of the streets of Dublin, with my interest in history, and qualified as a national tour guide. And that's what I do now, maybe 8 months of the year, ever since, every year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Love it. I love it. Highly recommend it.
I understand you were co-presenter of Crime Line in Dublin.
Yes, I was.
What exactly was that? Could you tell us more about it?
It was in the 1990s. I was a co-host for almost 6 years, and Crime Line was an almost complete replica of your Crime Watch programme in the UK, and it was appealing to the public for information and help in solving crime, burglaries, housebreakings and robberies of many, many different descriptions. And then also missing persons. A big problem in Ireland in the 1990s was missing persons. So the authorities would roll me out for the purpose of making appeals to find these people. And over that period of 6 years, I became well known around the streets of Dublin, which I can tell you sometimes is not a good thing.
No. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Martin, it really has been a pleasure to greet you here today in Merseyside. And I wish you well, and thank you very much. And God bless. Look after yourself.
And good luck to you, and thank you very much indeed. And God bless you. Thanks, Gordon.
My pleasure.
No problem.
You have been watching the recording of the Time of Your Life of Martin Reilly, which has enabled Martin to discuss some aspects of his ancestors, family and career. Thank you for viewing.